Hi, morning everybody, it's Nick. Yes, I know. Hey, look, it's Nick without having done hair and makeup, which is actually quite normal, isn't it? But I wanted to talk today about truth, about being able to share our reality and what that really means. So, nearly all of what I do in terms of writing and vlogging is all about sharing my honest reality as it seems to me. And I think it's really important to try and create a world where everybody is able to do that without feeling ashamed of their reality, without feeling that they're going to be judged and indeed being judged, without feeling that their reality isn't valid. It's not real. They could be worse off, therefore that their problems are invalidated. And I think it's really, really dangerous to create a world where people feel like that, because all that happens is all of these things that we feel, whether they make sense to somebody else or not, is not really the point. If we are feeling them, they are real to us as individuals. And I genuinely believe if those feelings are not allowed to flow, if we are not allowed to speak our truth, they will fester and they will eat us from the inside out, because they will just chew away at us and they become bigger in our imagination. And one of the healthiest things I definitely found from a mental health perspective is just being able to talk very, very honestly about how I am feeling in the moment. And just the very act of being able to talk or write and do that actually allows my energy to shift. It's a bit like journaling, I guess, isn't it? It allows something to shift, and it puts the thing in front of you and it allows you to see it. Now, what I do find really fantastic is when I have interactions with people who really, really hold a psychologically safe space for you. And it's not easy holding a psychologically safe space for people. It's really, really not. There's quite a skill to it, because it's exactly what it says, actually. It is absolutely holding space. And what holding space really means is you have to listen. You have to really, really listen intently. And you have to hold yourself back from trying to, it's a natural state to try and implement your solutions, or to say that that's not true, or to say that, don't worry about it, or it's not quite as big a deal as you think. All of those things, whilst they are meant with a good intent, and there's lots of other, I can't think of everything right now, there's lots of other things that each of us do. We have to be really careful that we don't shut people down, okay? Because if we say to somebody that we don't, they're getting things out, you're getting things out of perspective, you're oversensitive, you're taking this personally, anything with that negative comment, you're invalidating and you're shutting down the person. Alternatively, even trying to be very solution oriented, what about doing this, what about doing that, you're imposing a solution. And that in itself can be quite overwhelming. I think one of the most difficult things is to do that active listening and to really hold the psychologically safe space. And what that means is really putting your own solutions, your own judgment, your own views on one side, and really, really listening. And it's hard because sometimes people say stuff and it resonates and we go, and we want to share. And you have to really, I really have to focus and, really put my brain into that gear and hold myself back. There's one person actually that is a colleague of mine who is, actually there's a couple of people, but this one in particular, absolutely amazing at holding psychologically safe space, where they would just call me at the end of the day and it would be, and they would, just hold the space and say, tell me about how your day's been, tell me about how you're feeling. And there was never any judgment, there was never any, oh, well, it's not that bad, or you don't need to feel like that, or it's going to be okay, because actually they don't know that. We have to let it flow. It was just a very safe space. And what they would say that was really, really helpful is, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? What would help you? Very open questions, very non-judgmental open questions. And I do think it is incredibly important that each of us are allowed to speak our truth. And I don't put the stuff out there that I put out there in any way, shape or form for pity. It is not about that. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I put it out there because what I am trying to do is to create a world where it's absolutely normal to own our truth and to be able to share our truth. Because as blessed and joyous and overall loving and content, as my life definitely is, that does not mean that there aren't days where I'm not frustrated or angry or sad or anxious or a whole host of things. Because I'm predominantly, you know, this is the thing, I'm a human being, and part of the human experience is that all of that comes into play. And I think it's just so important that we learn, when we say it's okay not to be okay, there's an awful lot of subtext behind that. And one of them is, I think, is learning to be able to allow people to really share their truth, as uncomfortable as that may be, without constantly feeling that, you know, we have to fix them or provide a solution, or tell them what they should or shouldn't feel. And I think that the very nature, the very act of allowing somebody to be able to really, really own and speak their truth without fear of any judgment or being told to do this or being told to do that, in itself allows our feelings and our energy to flow. And we can very often, I know, just talking things through or writing things through, I can very often come to a conclusion myself, which is far, far easier to implement now, if I have done so. And I feel, you know, there are certainly people I am really drawn to be able to speak to when I'm feeling really down, because I know I will be psychologically safe with them. I know they won't judge me. I know they won't try and impose solutions. I know they won't invalidate how I'm feeling. They will just hold space for me. And it is really, really that basic. It is holding that space, the active listening, the act of non-judgment, and just holding that space to hold that person's hand, you know, to hold my hand until effectively I will probably get myself to a place to where I need to be. Now, you know, I know there are times when people need more interventions than that. I can only speak about my experiences, so that is the scope within which I'm covering here. But even so, I just think it's really, really important when we say it's okay not to be okay. That means we have to be okay with facing people's uncomfortable truths, okay, without invalidating them or closing them down, or even trying to change them. That is something that we can support people and we can hold their hand to do, but that's an inside out job. And I wanted to share that, and I hope that's of help, and I hope everybody's staying safe. Take care. Bye.